And let's see. Starting. Yep, live. I think we are live now.
Hooray!
I will tweet the link and then someone can tell us if they can actually hear you also, because I mean,
Oh yeah, that sounds like a handy thing when you're trying to have a conversation.
Yeah, because I can see in OBS that the desktop audio is also on, and like I can hear it moving, whatever that is called, it's moving.
Yeah. Poke me when you tweeted it out, because then I can retweet it.
Cool, cool. And done. Okay. Live live tweeting.
Excellent.
That's a new way to live tweet.
Hooray!
Yep. So let's see if I can actually get the, because I could just move the window on my desktop, but then it has, like, you know, the title bar. There's a lot. Window capture, that sounds like that should be it. But when I turn it on, it's just a black square. At least it looks like it on OBS. I don't know how it looks on YouTube. Let's give YouTube a few, like, nope, it's also black square.
I opened up the stream, it's a black window.
Exactly. So I'm guessing you have the stream open because there's one person watching, so I guess that's you. Oh no,
yeah.
it's Blip Track.
It's Blip Track.
Nice.
Oh, I think that person follows me too on Twitter.
Yes. So we're trying to get the Hangouts window to show up in the stream. It's proving not so easy. What about?
Shouldn't the window capture always work, even if it's not shown?
Yeah, but it seems that is just not working because I can change it to a different window and that's also not showing. I thought maybe it was somehow because it's a video, it's some strange GPU thing or something like that, but it just doesn't seem to work. So that's a bit sucky. What else could I do here? Browser? No. No. Game capture? How does that work? Specific window. Not sure how that is different from.
Oh, Blue Track, you weren't following me, but now you are. Thank you.
Nice.
Oh, that's one of my followers. I know that person.
Nice. Yeah, it's convenient if people have the same like avatars because sometimes it's hard to remember by name, but the avatars are easy to recognize and remember.
Yeah. But you do have multiple monitors, right?
Yeah. So I do have it here, but it would be nice like if you're showing something because I can do like move the window in, but that's also.
Yeah, that seems a lot of effort. Yeah. Hello. Oh no, you already hit it again. That's what I get for watching with delay.
Yeah. but the audio is live, so I guess that's a bit confusing, because if I do something, then you'd see it later, but the audio is live. So
Yeah.
no face cam. No. This, like, why would I put my face here? It's all about the KiCad.
Yeah. People like your face, Arturo.
Yeah. No, I don't see any reason. Like, if I was maybe streaming games, then you can see my reactions, but I don't do that. So
Who knows? Maybe they want to know your reactions when you're placing symbols.
my reaction to the datasheet. No, not this spec.
Yes.
It takes how much power? No.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, it seems like I can't get this to work right now, at least. And the problem is, like, if I put the window, then I can't make it on top. I would need some Windows thingy that allows me to put windows on top. So I guess for today we skip it. That's my next time. Or 5 people. Oh, Grogard is back. Nice. We have returning viewers.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I have not done anything in the project since last time. I mean, I've been doing a lot of reading, as probably people can see on Twitter. Like, I'm posting random things about the chip and how I'm gonna do it, but haven't done anything yet. So today, if people haven't joined last time, today is a ARD stream. I'm creating, like, I'm drawing inside the symbol just because I really like how it's done. Like, oof, Adobe needs a second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so here I have the discovery board schematic, and I like how it looks. So I'm copying that. And what are you working on?
Oh, I'm supposed to be working. Oh no. Well, I'm probably gonna work on some more firmware related or like testing regarding my CAN boards. So I'll probably hook up an oscilloscope. Well, the oscilloscope I have right behind me. I'm not sure you can tell, but you know, there's some
my
stuff
head.
there.
I can see it.
Yeah, there's a hot glue gun and like the oscilloscope and lots of tape and components and FPGAs and whatever. But yeah, I plan on doing some rudimentary TX testing and looking at the frames if I'm even capable of sending anything, because I've figured out that the issue I was having, that I can't turn on or I can't pull up the CAN device on Linux, was because the CAN transceiver wasn't powered on the other side of the isolation.
Right.
Which I didn't think to even have mattered, because you know they're isolated, and I thought they would be done via optics and stuff, so it wouldn't really matter, but apparently it does. So yeah, that's something pretty cool. Like it's a feature, I'd say, because if it doesn't have any power on the CAN lines, it just, you know, doesn't go up, and that's pretty handy.
Right, that's true. I'm just looking the window, the streaming window. It looks like it's loading. I wonder if the stream is having problems.
It's fine for me.
People are not saying anything, so let's see.
Yeah, it's only bad if people are complaining.
Yeah. But I also do wonder, and please tell me in the chat if like you can hear Vifino like echoing through the microphone, because I mean the speaker is not so far from the microphone, so I wonder if that's kind of going round.
I can hear myself when I'm talking.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay, that's so great. That's probably gonna also show on the stream.
Maybe. But you do have a noise gate, so maybe it's filtered out because it's not very loud.
But I could actually just put on headphones, because then, I mean, I'm streaming the sound from the PC anyway, so people don't need to hear the speakers.
Yeah.
So let me just do that.
Hooray.
Can't hear anything right now. I do wonder if I have to change some settings here.
Oh yeah, just a fair warning. When I do turn on my oscilloscope, it's probably gonna get loud because it's a quite old oscilloscope and it does have a very noisy fan.
Right. Let's see how that goes. So now I put my headphones on, so people shouldn't be able to hear the echo.
Yeah, I can't hear myself anymore, which is fun.
That's good. Yeah, you can kind of like you disturb yourself because you start talking, then you hear the echo, and you're like, "Oop, what? Oop." I know that's annoying, so let's not do that.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, I've done that so many times, and I've dealt with so many feedback stuff that I kind of figured out how to talk over it. It's still confusing, but I can sort of keep my thought going.
Right.
Just until I need to think of the next thing, and at that point I have to wait until the echo is over to start thinking. So it's complicating things, but it's doable.
And now we're good. So trying to give the people the best experience. So hopefully this is it.
Definitely.
But I've been neglecting the chat, so let's see what's happening. Yeah, Krogard is pointing out that Octavo Systems has announced a system in package that also uses the STM, 32 MP1, and I have seen it, and it's really cool because it's the chip and RAM and flash and PMIC, and I think pretty much, I mean, it's a system in a package, so you just kind of need power and that's it. But I mean, where's the fun in that?
It's even the same PMIC that you use.
Yeah, because that's recommended PMIC by STM.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. But it's kind of fascinating that they put like chips and then they put them inside a chip. Not really, but they make it look like a chip.
Indeed. That's not the same SIP that the AI BeagleBone thing is using, right?
No, that was something else. But someone pointed out that there will probably be like a BeagleBone with this because the previous ones used the Octavo SIPs. So probably someone will do it.
Interesting. Oh, right. Octavo is different than... Yeah, never mind. Not the same company.
No, I think they just do the SIPs and then someone else does the boards.
Yeah.
Now I'm rearranging my second monitor so I can see all the things at once, and I can keep track of your video feed, and if something I don't want to say interesting because that implies that it's not interesting now, but if something like moves and is fun to see, then I will put it.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna fetch my laptop,
Sure.
so I can do more debugging work that way, because the machine I'm using right now doesn't have any USB CAN driver things, so I can't really test the CAN part of things when I can't do CAN. Kind of hard.
Yep.
So I'll be right back.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm just, as you can see, getting started on this symbol. It took 2 hours to make this on the previous stream, so I'm hoping to finish it on this stream. I have all my arrows here ready, or like arrow tips. And yeah, it takes a bit longer while streaming than it would take if I wasn't, but hopefully in the end it's all worth it if someone learns something. I think I keep repeating myself since last time, but why not? So what is everybody else doing? What is the chat doing? What is the chat working on? CapCut is not made. Photoshop, this is not. Illustrator, not really. There we go. Porting drivers into U-boot. Nice. Which driver are you porting? No worries, Blip Track. I mean, nothing happens overnight, so obviously it took us time to get where we are, and there's always more to be learned, so just gotta be patient, and I would say keep failing, because that's how you learn usually. At least that's been my experience. As I'm failing here on this drawing, I think I know it. Right. But then are you, Grogar, are you using the mainline U-boot, or is it the not ST, the microchip/Atmel U-boot? Are you porting from their U-boot? Are you porting from the kernel? It's not centered, is it? I think this is good enough, right? And deal with these like sub-pixels, or not really. Okay. I guess you can cherry pick some stuff, assuming there's no big conflict. Okay, that takes care of that. Oh, from the bootstrap, nice. But then that's really useful. You should try to get that into the mainline U-boot. I'm sure they would appreciate it. So
I've returned.
Yay!
Yay!
So if anyone is wondering why there are grounds here in this schematic but not in mine, it's because I put all the grounds just on top of each other here, because in the end they will be all connected to the same ground. So I just like it more that way.
Oh, cool! Porting the PMIC driver from 1891 Bootstrap to mainline U-boot.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I believe it's the Bootstrap sets up the PMIC, then U-boot totally ignores it, and the kernel takes over later. So if you want to do like in between, you have to port the driver. Very nice.
Yeah.
I do wonder, can you draw dashed lines in the symbols? I have a suspicion. Oh, yep, you cannot. Ah, but this works.
Oh, do you have to draw a dashed line by hand?
No, I will not. I would have to, but I think this is, I mean, this is clear enough. This is clear enough.
Oh, that would have been a lot of effort.
Yeah, I mean, I spent 5 hours on the previous symbol, but this is just too much. At that rate, like I said, it's gonna be take 30 streams to finish just the schematic or something.
Yeah.
So let's not do that.
Oh God, the joys of using a modern connector. You don't have many cables spare.
Yeah, that's true. And like you never really know if they're like proper rated and so on. I guess for you're just using USB 2 over the USB Type C, so that's fine. But
yeah,
with 3, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, I just I didn't have enough cables, so I grabbed another laptop, not the one I originally did my testing on, because I also require a Type-C cable to charge the thing. So I had to choose between charging and using. Now I have the problem that this Linux installation is like void Linux, and it doesn't have the CAN packages packaged.
Right.
So now I either have to decide between using the one that I can charge, or packaging the thing. And I think I'm gonna package the CAN tools.
I mean, it's for the future, also useful, so it's not time wasted, I would say.
Yeah.
2 rectangles.
But it's always like this. It's always like I try to do a thing and I go down a rabbit hole, and I keep finding more things to fix before I actually do the thing I want to do.
Yep.
So, oh well. They probably should just compile, though. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. All this copying is just rectile on top of rectile. KiCad is not made for this exactly.
God damn it. The CAN utils don't have a new release, and the only release they have is from 2018 and February. So they have like 47 commits after that. Their versioning scheme is literally like the date they decide to make a release.
Right.
Great.
At least it's easy to keep track of when it was released.
Yeah, because there's only one release. Oh well.
I'm having second thoughts if this is worth the effort, because KiCad feels really like a chore to draw anything and then align it, and yeah.
It's for a good cause, Arturo.
I could just do it like in Illustrator and then import a PNG and put it under the symbol. Just slightly cheating. So let's see. Let's see what I have in 30 minutes.
Oh, great. I have to patch CAN utils to compile on this thing. No. That was not how I imagined spending my evening. Patching, like, CAN utilities. Oh well. It is what it is.
But in the meanwhile, if you want, you can tell a bit more about your project. Like, what is the, what is the final use for it? But yeah, what are your plans with it? And
yeah, sure. Basically, this is the board I'm working on is like a teeny tiny CAN adapter. It's supposed to help you, read and write to CAN buses at very high speeds if possible. So say you have say a car, you can get like an ODB2 Bluetooth adapter, and it lets you like read out all the stuff. But just reading is perhaps not so much useful. But if you're say a pen tester, and you do hacking by trade, you might want to like do read write to the CAN buses.
Yeah.
So you might want to write some status information or activate some controls in your car, or anything of that nature. You definitely need a read write thing. And I made some very interesting design decisions. Well, for one thing, I used USB Type-C,
Right.
which it could be considered like a straight simple idea, but really it's such a simple idea that just makes using it so much easier, because plugging it in is very much less effort.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to use. Sorry to interrupt. I'm trying to use like Type-C now everywhere in all the boards I make, because I mean we have to make the switch eventually. So why, the change starts with you, Captain Planet. No.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's especially the Type-C socket you found. It's a really good thing because it has like a through-hole legs, so it's really robust. It doesn't just like lay on the soldering and relies on like the solderer to keep it in place. But actually has like the stems that keep it in place, and that's pretty important for something that's going to be plugged in and out a lot of times.
Yeah, so, and it has very few pins because it's only USB 2, which is fine for most people anyway, because free and power delivery and all that, it's a huge headache.
Yeah, I don't need power on this board, and I don't, at least not much. And I don't need any super high data rates. USB 2.0 is fast enough. Channeling, piping through a 1 megabit per second stream of data should be possible over the 480 megabits.
Right, so it's high speed that STM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The other decision that I made that a lot of people don't understand or at least ask why is that I used JST GH plugs. Those are like tiny board-to-board connectors, and they're standardized in one CAN specification, namely the UAV CAN specification. So if you want to plug into drones and small flight controllers, you can just do that. And I designed that way because I figured that if I want to build a drone, like a bigger drone, not just like a small, quick, speedy bee, whatever, but rather like something that can carry something and do some aerial mapping or whatever, anything that sounds interesting. I can just plug it into my flight controller, which already has these ports, and just talk to the flight controller, tell it what to do, talk to the motors, all that stuff, and it's starting to get wide adoption in some very expensive ESCs and drone compartments, but yeah, that's like the future for more robust devices. And the idea is that you have two of those, so you can just daisy chain basically. And generally UAV CAN supports redundancy, so you can have multiple CAN buses. And my idea is that you use multiple of these tiny boards because they're just tiny and relatively robust, and you use those, attach them to a single board computer, and have your drone accessible from Linux.
Yeah, but that's quite interesting because
yeah,
I actually didn't know that drones also use the CAN bus, but I haven't like played around much with drones, so interesting.
Yeah, the UAV CAN standard is something that's really cool, and I like it. It is a higher level over the CAN. So CAN is basically the physical layer, and you got the IP analog is basically UAV CAN, and you got addressing, you got defined standards and types. So if something complies, or if you have like a motor or I don't know, a smart battery, it'll send standardized messages. And you can handle these standardized messages, and any smart battery that has a CAN bus and supports these messages will be supported. So you only have to implement like one thing in your flight controller, and it just works.
That is really cool, actually.
Yeah.
You get access to, I'm guessing, like just implementing the CAN, you get access to a lot of software that people already created. You get many things for free, quote, quote.
Yeah. Yeah, UAV CAN got a lot of cool things. It basically got DHCP for CAN too.
Wow.
So it has a node server, it has a file server. So if your node needs to grab some files of the CAN bus, it can. The cool thing about that is, you could grab some config files or whatever. Yeah, sure, that's like pretty cool. But on the other hand, what you can do is grab firmware. So if you have there's UAV CAN capable bootloaders, and you can tell it to just initialize the UAV CAN hardware before you boot, and check if there's a firmware update available, and if there is, pull it and run the new firmware. If it isn't, just run your regular firmware.
That is.
And that sort of auto update on different types of nodes really piqued my interest.
Yeah.
It's quite handy, I'd imagine, on maybe not in a drone specifically.
I'm guessing
but
in a car, I mean, that's where CAN bus shines. In a car, must be really useful, and there's so many systems in cars that need stuff like this.
Yeah, I've figured that I might do some sort of home automation thing with CAN, and just use UAV CAN, even though my house is not a drone.
Yet.
Yes, you're right. But all the convenience features it brings, really nice. So yeah, this thing just has a small STM32 microcontroller, and that's pretty much it. It has a CAN transceiver, some power stuff, a ripped off capacitor. Wow, I did not notice that. Oof. Yeah, it has very minimal amount of components, and some push button to enter the bootloader, and like an LED, because I like LEDs. It's RGB.
I've seen your LED matrices at CCC.
Yeah. You might have noticed that I like LEDs. So these ones have LEDs, plenty of them.
Nice. Yeah, I put the video now in full screen so people can see it closer also. Like, since the boards are so much in display, or like exactly.
Yeah, then let me orient them the right way around.
So is it like the small capacitors? Is it 0402 or 0603?
That's 0402.
Nice.
Yeah.
But then you went for quite big button and like the LDO. But I'm guessing since the electrolytic caps are also so big, then there's no reason to really save space.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought a lot about what I wanted to run on this thing, and I got the diffused RGB LED. Yeah, it's really cool in my mind.
Can't really see it that well on the webcam, but yeah, like I mean the colors, but that's just something.
Yeah, let me check if I can put the focus.
I think it's like very milky, kind of blurry, almost like it's glowing, you know. But you can definitely see the board and the components. So the STM has a built-in USB bootloader, I think, right? So that's how you flash it over DFU.
It does.
Nice. So you don't need ST-Link or anything.
Yeah, but I got a header for it, so if I ever need to, I can.
And it's version 1.0, so first try and it works.
Yeah, really. The main part of that, why it worked so well, was because I ported firmware instead of writing my own.
Right.
And yeah, I just did some very rudimentary changes because it already was quite configurable. Yeah, and since they used similar chips, I can just put it in there, and USB worked, and the bootloader was still there. So if it didn't work, I can just reflash it. And the main part I meddled with was like how to drive the LED and like tell which ports to use for LEDs.
Right.
Really simple stuff.
Very cool. So what is the plan? Are you putting it on Tindy or something like that? Where can people get this?
That's a good question. I'm really not sure at this point. I've been told by many people, basically every person I've shown this board to, that I definitely need to sell it. And some people told me that I should do like a crowdfunding run, right. Say on CrowdSupply.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that. I've also been thinking about just doing it at home and trying to get some boards out and just sell them like that. I'm really not sure what the interest will be like, and if there's like zero interest in it, I don't really need to like pay a board house and then an assembly hall to just assemble like 5 boards. So yeah, I've been thinking about going to CrowdSupply anyways, just to go just to judge the interest in this thing.
Right.
Because if there's no interest, like there aren't that many backers, and if there are, I have the money to do a proper production run.
True. Yeah, it's something I've been also considering for like any board, really, any product. Like, what is the best way? Like now CrowdSupply is really cool. Before it used to be more like Kickstarter, but CrowdSupply seems to be really nice. But
yeah,
if you kind of don't know how many you will be able, like what's the interest, and if you don't want to make them before, and then with Tindy you kind of have to have, I guess, some stock, and if suddenly so many people order, you're kind of in trouble. But there I think you can limit how many you want on sale right now. That's also an option. So
yeah, maybe I'll assemble the boards I can with the parts I have, and sell off the prototypes, because those are raw HS and like INIG finish and everything, like lead-free solder. So I should just be able to sell them. All the parts are certified and stuff like that. It shouldn't radiate anything. Yeah. It's all about like laws, and do I have to have a company to sell a Tindy, and do I have to fulfill any special requirements, and do I have to do some sort of special taxes stuff and all that stuff that kind of scares me into like just doing it more or less, because I don't want to get in trouble and I just want to have fun while doing this stuff. And for me, this was something I wanted personally because I couldn't get any CAN adapter for relatively cheap, so I just made one. Like the only CAN adapters I found were either like $200 at least, or only available in the US, and neither of those really helped me. Ideally, I wanted to pay like $50 with free shipping on like Amazon, and have a CAN board, and I can just mess with CAN for what I wanted. But yeah, there's nothing like that, and especially not open source. Right. Like there are some CAN boards like the Candlelight, which I use the firmware of.
Yeah, I was going to ask, if there is a firmware, then has to be a board that firmware came with. So I was wondering, how is that one different?
Yeah, there are two boards actually that, like, the guy that made this, Hubert D, that he basically like took made his boards for himself, just like I more or less did, but never really sold them or did anything with them. And that's sad. And he was working on some other boards, but I think he's gone AWOL, so there hasn't been any changes in like the past year or two.
Right.
On any of his projects really. So that's a bit sad. There's been another CAN board that has an entirely different design, but still the same core principle, and it's pretty similar schematic, called the I think it was not Candlelight, but I forgot the name. Let me look it up 1 second. I have it in my repo. It is the Cannibal. Yeah, that one I wanted to buy. Yeah, that one I wanted to buy because it has all the right features. Like their Pro version is basically what I wanted, but the Pro version only ships in the US, and the store doesn't seem to have any of them in stock. And when they're in stock, they cost $60 plus shipping, which doesn't even matter because I'm not in the US.
Right, and then also customs in Europe. So.
Yeah, so that was not an option. And yeah, I really wanted to have a galvanically isolated CAN bus because I don't want my laptop to explode when I plug things wrong.
Yeah,
that's just not a good idea. And yeah, with this I have full galvanic isolation. I have ESD protection. I have native Linux socket CAN support. I have all the right features. And yeah, I can just plug in and plug out with the JST-GH plugs my termination, or plug in another device, whatever. I have a very high degree of freedom on my boards.
Very cool.
And they're also very much smaller than the any other board. Like I think my board is half the size of the Cannibal Pro. Like they have a screw terminal, and they're also like more elongated. They're not as thick, but they're long, and I find that form factor pretty bad because you usually have some sort of width, but you can't go infinitely in the length, especially after your connectors, because they have to go to the other side too. Yeah, like there were a bunch of big complications on that, and I tried my best, and it turned out to really work well.
Yeah, definitely very nice board.
I mean, the hardware should work, the firmware should work, like the hardware does work more or less. Like if the components work, the board does. Like the major part, like the USB part and the LEDs, that all works flawlessly. The part where I can test is the CAN transceiver right now, because I don't have any CAN things, and no one is stupid enough to let me in their car to play with their electronics. I mean, I've like just today I gave someone from the hackerspace one of the prototypes I made, and he's actually gonna test it. And he hasn't written me back yet, but when he does, he'll probably tell me that it doesn't work, and I have stuff to work on. But
I guess you could
I don't know.
try getting them to work like in pairs, but yeah, might be difficult.
What did he say?
Because if you use one as a transceiver and one as a receiver, right, that should work. Or
yeah. I've just haven't had like I just didn't have the cables for it, because I didn't have any GH cables. And when I do, I also need to figure out how to deliver power to it and all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I plan on doing. I just need more cables, really. And for now, I'm gonna resort to just having like a 4-pin breakout and just attaching my variable LED bench power supply and my oscilloscope to it.
It's a start.
That'll do the trick for now. Yeah.
Get any luck with the packaging stuff?
Oh, you know, I really need to figure out how to do all this stuff. It's it's so much, so many things that I'm new at, and yeah, it's a challenge. But I like challenges, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's why we are who we are, engineers and so on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bit. I'm gonna go off topic now, but that's a bit strange, kind of why at job interviews they ask you to write code like on whiteboards for basic algorithms. I mean, that is not what you're gonna do at your work. You always just Google things like that. It makes more sense if they ask stuff where you have to kind of figure something out, because anybody can memorize an algorithm. That doesn't really make you a good coder, I would say, a good engineer.
Yeah.
It's figuring out the curiosity thing that makes it more good engineers.
Exactly. Yeah, I also don't like. I understand that companies look at like your degrees and stuff like that, but considering something like programming, like what your computer science degree tells you, that you've learned the theoretical part of like computer science, that doesn't make you a good programmer. That doesn't even mention that you even really did much programming at all. It's just that, exactly like you said, that you mentioned that you memorize the algorithms and basically understand how it works, but understanding how it works and having applied it are entirely different things.
I mean, from my experience, whenever like I started a new job, I kind of had to figure out how to do things. You never really go in, or maybe now a bit more after a few years of working, but like the first jobs, it was like when I started at Sony, they gave me all of Android's source and like, start doing things. And I've never worked with Android before. And I just had to figure it out. That's how you do, and that's kind of how you survive. You figure things out if you're clever enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that just like them telling you, hey, here's something, just do it.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be like an instant start. You kind of have to get used to it and have a workflow and stuff like.
I think it's also kind of good if you have some time to familiarize yourself with like the code base and how things work. So like if I've heard that it's a good way to learn is checking out, like reviewing code. So you join a company and kind of start reviewing people's code, because you learn where exactly the changes are made, what kind of changes, how does the code look, and what is even the code style, stuff like that. I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, first weeks are always kind of a lot of reading and figuring stuff out.
Exactly. Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff that makes joining a new company, and especially as like an inexperienced person, hard. Like a whole different like a whole different workflow, and people that just do their job and basically don't want to get interrupted, or people that just want to interrupt, more or less. To put it like yeah, sure, you can chat all day, you can do whatever, but there's like a fine line between what you're supposed to do and what you're actually doing, and yeah, things don't really work out instantly in any way.
I think actually, like in Sweden, I think the work culture is quite chill. Like people take many like coffee breaks and so on. You're not really expected to be, or no one expects you to be at work 9 to 5, because you're judged on like what you get done. If you get done what's expected of you, then you can leave, when you're done. They trust you that you will get it done in your own time, kind of, which is kind of nice, I think. I'm not sure how it is exactly in other places, like in US. Maybe it's a bit more, or in Asia. I heard stories, I don't want to stereotype, but you hear stories that you cannot leave until it's exactly like 5.
In Germany, it really depends where you work. Like if you work in a startup, things get really chill. Like it really doesn't matter, just as long as you're having a good time at this point. Like,
but that's also dangerous, because it requires some degree of self discipline, for sure.
Yes, exactly. Like as long as you do what's required of you, and you're like not doing anything bad, it's quite good. But then you go in like a huge company, and you have and to talk to and you can't just talk to your your boss's boss, because that would go against the chain of command, and you have to go to your boss to tell him that he should go to your boss, to his boss, to tell him to whatever. And if you have like a problem with someone, it's pretty bad. Like you can't just like in a startup there are probably very few people. Like maybe like 3, maybe like 5, maybe like 10, 20. I don't know. That's all still relatively small numbers. But then you go into like a big company that has like 100,000 employees. there's a big difference.
Definitely.
Yeah. Personally, I'm a huge fan of small companies because I have lots of knowledge in like very specific areas, but none that I could say like, yeah, I could just do that one thing forever.
No, but
So I can't just say, I can't just like be a sysadmin or like a programmer, because I do many things, and usually things work better when I do them in combination. Like if I control the hardware, I can control the software, I can make both things work pretty good together. And if I only control the software and like have another person to design the hardware, who knows what miscommunication can happen, what problems that might happen that person didn't think of, or like having to ask someone to fix a bug because you are technically in another position that you're not responsible for that problem.
Right.
But for what in my mind is more or less no reason.
Yeah, from my experience, it's actually not so bad. Like working, I mean, I've been mostly working as a programmer. Now I'm kind of trying to get more into working professionally with hardware, but working with hardware engineers and so on hasn't been so bad. Like they understand their strengths and their kind of weaknesses, so they come to you with questions about, is this okay, that it will work with software and so on. I think it all depends on people still, that they have to know that exactly there are some things that other people know better and they should ask opinions, because otherwise if they there's no communication between hardware and software, then hardware designs something and just drops it on your desk and here, write code for this. That's a really bad company then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
yeah.
So far I haven't been to such a company. It's been really good. But
yeah.
I guess you hear stories.
Yeah. It really depends on what company you work for and what who does what, and what that person has going on in their mind at that point. Yeah. Like there are good people and there are bad people and there's everything in between. So,
Sure.
But it's probably also like a fault on my side, because I'm not exactly that great at communicating. And yeah, who knows?
That's also a bit like stereotypical engineer.
Yeah. And, so far, I enjoy being able to like do anything I want to at a startup.
That's nice.
Yeah. Like practically, we don't have enough people to just have one person do one thing. So we just share whatever we can and do whatever one person feels like doing at that point. As long as the things get done, everything's all right.
Nice. I'm thinking because like I posted my new business card that I got from my company on Twitter, and it says embedded engineer, because again I was trying to not put myself in that box that it's just programmer or just software or something, because when you see what I do like in my spare time, again on Twitter, you could call it full stack embedded. That you do the PCB and you do the software for it, and you design, or I design like 3D cases for things and 3D print them, and you try FPGAs and hardware design like that, and
yeah.
I think it's good to be.
It's really interesting.
multi multi categories.
Yeah. There are so many different things you can do with anything related to technology that locking yourself into one thing and only doing that one thing feels like that's at least something that I don't like doing. So I regularly experience and different aspects of technology and stuff. So that's those boards are practically just me trying to understand and learn about PCB design and how just make a board that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
So
I think you succeeded,
yeah.
definitely.
Thank you. I do think so as well.
I mean, it's super impressive always that if the first version runs and there's like no issues or only small issues, then that's always a huge success.
Yeah. To be fair, there's like the first version of that thing looked entirely different. Like the component placement was pretty much the same, but I sent it to Georgi Okimides, and he actually does that. And he's a professional, and he basically told me like many pages of what I did wrong, and with his help and him helping me reroute the thing, we managed to build this board, and that's why he has very many thanks on and his name is forever on that board.
Nice. Very nice of him.
He really helped me out a lot. Yeah, like he originally I just messed with the basic layout, and it was pretty much the same, except a little bit uglier. It would have worked, probably. Like I did not mess up the USB traces, but one thing I did was, for example, I basically went to the minimum trace width. So instead of like 10 mils, which are most of the traces on this board, I had like 5 mil traces.
Right.
So that's like the maximum that my board house can do. And yeah, that I probably would have had to scrap like half the boards because I would have just ripped off the traces from trying to solder it.
Yeah, it would have been much heat.
Yeah. So he helped me reroute the power and basically like cleaned up the whole thing to make it more presentable, I'd say. And together we did a really good job.
Definitely, yeah. So that cable you have there, that's for probing, I'm guessing. The 4-pin.
That cable, the breakout for the JCGH cable, yeah. That cable is practically just a simple breakout because I don't have a board yet. You got like the plus line, the ground, and CAN H and CAN L, and yeah. I will use that to apply power to it, to the isolated side, and use my oscilloscope probes to probe the CAN L and CAN H lines.
The other one that there's a small black part sticking out. It almost looks like it's like an antenna. It's wireless CAN or something.
Yeah, that's like a termination plug. That's basically a 120 ohm resistor on the CAN H and CAN L lines. Yeah.
So there is something there, nice.
Yeah, it's basically I'm basically following exactly the standards that the people that made that design UAV CAN devices do. So I stole the 2 plugs and termination plug idea from them. Like the connectors are not fragile, but I wouldn't plug them in like daily for the rest of my life. But I don't have any worries that they're breaking off.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I would assume you just plug in a cable and kind of leave it in there and then connect it to the other side. It shouldn't be so
that's fine. Yeah, if I do end up selling these, I'll probably sell them with a cable set. So one JST-GH cable, and probably like a breakout that just has a pin header for like breadboards, and like a voltage regulator that regulates anything down to like 5 volts, or like the termination thing. I can just ship 2 JST-GH cables and a termination thing breakout with power connectors and a converter, and just like a breakout board. I think that's probably the most versatile, because it allows you to have the termination at one end and also inject power to the system,
right? Yeah,
which is pretty handy. And yeah, if I put an ideal Zener voltage circuit on there, I can probably just like have them at each end with different power circuitries, and things just work.
I wonder if it would make sense to put there's some test points on the isolated side, so you can inject power, just solder some wires for testing. But if you have a breakout cable of a breakout board, then maybe it doesn't.
Yeah. Don't know. I have like it's probably too late to change it now for the 20 boards I have, but I probably have space for it. Actually, no, that's I have like a tiny strip of my PCB that's not sure if you can tell, but it's this part here, the little strip here.
Yeah.
That's the and so I obviously can't place anything there. The rings are grounded, but anything else, no.
Right.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. I just figured out something different. I could use, instead of 1 probe across CAN H and CAN L, I can use 2 probes to ground. Like that's probably a more reliable setup than anything else. Yeah, I'll just use 2 probes instead of 1. Like I'm not sure if the CAN voltage is differential to each other, or just actually no, it is. Never mind. It probably doesn't make a difference.
Can't help you much there. Don't know that much about CAN.
Yeah. But generally, like it's designed to be robust. It might die if you put it under too much voltage or whatever. But generally, like it won't blow up your computer, and the cost of this device is, who knows. For me, it's like $20. When I'm gonna sell it, I'll probably sell it for like 50.
Right.
Because of company expenses and taxes and whatever.
Yeah,
that's
something I'm wondering, because like if you sell 5 boards a year, do you really need a company? I mean, that's There were a lot of work and doing taxes and expenses and all that. So where is the fine line there?
That's the question.
I think there's probably like, some law. I don't know Germany, but in Sweden that you can sell something up to a point, up to some amount, and then you need a proper company. Because I mean, if you sell your couch to someone, you don't need a company for that. I'm guessing, or maybe that goes into a different kind of sale. But if you're making couches.
Yeah, laws are complicated, and at least when I go to like crowdfund this, I definitely need a company.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Because then the money would go to the company, and I can pay all the expenses there, and having that go to my personal account is probably not a good idea. And it would also allow me to have to give the people some transparency. Oh, Bleep Track is still here. They wrote in Germany it's very easy to get the Kleingewerbe, so you can sell stuff really easily. Yeah, that's something I'm thinking about. The question is how I want to sell this and how big I want to sell it, and or if I want to just do like a couple hundred boards for people who ask, or if I want to sell it on like some online platform, maybe Tindy, maybe Amazon, maybe whatever. Who knows? Yeah, it's more of a question how I want to do things than if I can, because I definitely can. It's like worst case I can probably make a UG, which basically where I don't even have to pay much money. It's like €1, and like I pay €1 and I have a company that I'm not so that allows me to not go to jail if bad things happen.
Right.
Yeah. That's something like that. Yeah, it's complicated.
Definitely.
Yeah, but it's also the question is that when I have a company, like I need to pay all the fees that are involved with that. Like maybe the obvious ones, like hey, you probably need to pay your bills that you do that when you produce the board and all the other stuff, but also like things like insurance and other related things like I really don't know what the English word for that is.
But even like companies that like you start with that €1, you need insurance. I'm really not much knowledge about this.
Yeah, you need to you basically like the €1 thing more or less works because you basically say that you're gonna get more money eventually, and when you get like €25,000, you'll pay them, or well you'll collect €25,000. And then you basically get instantly upgraded from like a UG to a GmbH, and that's like a bigger company form that probably allows you to do more stuff, and it's
this is for giving people a chance but there's not much penalty
Yeah.
if they fail. But if they succeed, then it's easier for them to become the real thing.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
cool. So it's like stimulating something, people's, I'm not sure, creativity or whatever that is called.
Exactly.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. That my current plan is like fund a company with like €1, go to crowdfund this thing, get some money, and depending on how much money I get, I'll produce however many boards that I sold or like promise to be selling in case of crowdfunding, whatever. Yeah, and probably like invest the rest some more money into producing some spare boards that I can sell regularly. And after that like batch of boards is done, if there's still interest, I can produce whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
also
it's
scary.
basically it's very scary if you basically like go from just knowing nothing about this to hey, I want to produce I'm gonna go talk to some big persons now about producing this board in a big scale. It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be worth it.
For sure. I mean, just seeing your design being used by people, it's really cool.
Yeah. My hope is that if I do fund a company and I do get some money, I can like buy a little a hall where I can like place machinery and stuff.
Ooh.
And place my CNC machine there, my 3D printers, and have that available to like the chaos scene, like all the hackers from my hackerspace and stuff like that, and basically build myself more or less my entire an assembly hall, which sounds like a bit overkill, but basically like I have some machinery, like DIY some other machines, like a pick and place machine, for example, and have all the necessary tools there, so that if people from like the chaos scene want to produce like a board or like 10 boards maybe or 100 boards, I can just give them my haul and say, hey, just don't break anything, and yeah, that they can produce their small scale boards for with practically with probably some profit on my end if they compensate me for the things, but I'll have helped some persons to realize their idea, and that's a reward in its whole in its own way. So
yeah, for sure, that sounds really amazing. I mean, I definitely hope you succeed. So if you don't mind me asking, where are you based? Is it Berlin or Hamburg or?
I'm in Frankfurt.
Frankfurt, nice.
Yeah. Sounds like a makerspace. You are sort of correct, Bleak. It's I imagine it more like a production space for really small scale stuff. Because I'm already a member in my local hackerspace, and I don't plan to compete with that, and I really just want some place where I can put some machinery.
So it's more, because I mean, you go to a hackerspace if you want to just sit and hack on something, but this would be if you have something you want to produce, you go and do that, I'm guessing.
Yeah, basically like a bunch of machinery. Yeah.
Really
like
cool.
I don't intend to I still intend to go to the Frankfurt hackerspace every Tuesday and every Thursday.
Wow, twice. And nice.
Like the hackerspace has become so important that it's basically like the #1 reason I cannot move out of Frankfurt. Because I've met so many awesome people there that I just couldn't miss.
Nice. How big?
Yeah.
How many people are there? How big is it?
Oh, that's a good question. Like on Tuesdays, there are less people there.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe like 5 people, maybe more, around that number. But on Thursdays, oh boy, you can in some weeks you get like upwards of 20 people there.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
we have quite a few members, and it's really cool. Like I've not been to that many hacker spaces, but I've been to some, like in all over Germany, and yeah, they're all very much different. Like some maybe not chaos related stuff, but like chaos friendly hacker spaces. They're smaller. They have entirely different attitudes and rules, and it's there's every single hackerspace is unique, and it's much less the space than the people that are there.
Yes, definitely.
Because something that I really admire in our hackerspace is that we are so diverse. But I mean, diverse is maybe the wrong word, but we basically have very young members, and we have very old members. We have
cool.
We have male and female members. We have people completely unrelated to technology there, and that's really impressive.
They just come kind of to hang out more than...
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, hang out, learn, have some drinks, just cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm a part also of the still .se hackerspace, but we are very tiny. Like I joined the group when it was only like a virtual hackerspace. We used to meet only for hack events in like our apartments. Everybody just almost like a LAN party, but you just hacked. Everybody hacked on random things. And then we, like 2 years ago, we decided to actually find a space. So now we're renting this basement here in Malmö, and it's only like 5 of us really. So it's very tiny, and we meet pretty much every Thursday, and it's not always everybody coming also, so it's like 2-3 people sometimes. But
awesome.
It's kind of hard funding, like when because we all know each other, and we kind of do some similar stuff also. Like we have a few people are into ham radio, and we do PCBs and just general hacking, IT sec. So it's kind of hard to diversify and find new members like that, I feel like, because you know, when a hackerspace is big, like it has dozens or hundreds of people, it's definitely different in the way it's organized also, because you don't leave kind of your private stuff just laying around when you're not there. You kind of have to clean up after yourself, and have private lockers. I mean, it's not even, you know, that you're scared that someone will take it. It's just so there's space when someone else comes. But here with 5 of us, everything is everywhere, and everything is shared because we know each other. So introducing new people who are strangers is difficult, because that changes the whole dynamic. So we're kind of struggling with that a bit.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, that's also another cool thing. Even though we're probably one of the like not a small hackerspace, but we have quite a couple members, we still have that just share because nobody will steal it, nobody will mine attitude. So we just have boxes with our names on it, and nobody touches those because that's if it's not your name, you won't touch it because everybody knows each other at that point. Like maybe not directly, but at least some people know each other, and since it's all based on trust, and people trust each other, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really mean that someone will come and steal it. It's more just common courtesy to not leave your stuff around.
Yeah,
it changes kind of, and with like 5 of us, because whatever's in the hackerspace, we just owned and brought there like some oscilloscopes, power supplies. Now recently we bought a reflow oven and like an ultrasonic cleaner, stuff like that. So
nice.
If we are 5, then everybody knows how to use those things. And if you become many, that's also a problem that either someone has to explain how to use it, or someone will try to use it that doesn't know how to use it, and then they might break it, and not on purpose, but stuff happens. So that's also kind of changing the dynamic.
Yeah, we have I think 2 oscilloscopes, a laser cutter, more of that, like maybe 3 or 4 3D printers, a reflow oven, which is like a pizza oven.
Nice.
We have what else would we have? We have like a giant printers, like 2D printers, which is weird, but we have that too, in case someone needs that.
For sure, need to print some schematics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. That's something that's useful. Yeah, we have plenty of tools for all different stuff, and yeah, we basically solved our problem of not being able to like not everyone being able to use a tool by having a wiki. Like we have our internal wiki where we document stuff like how to use the reflow oven. Like we have custom software for it, and how to use the laser cutter. Basically, like all the parameters to cut different materials, all which are labeled, and same for the 3D printers, the 2D printers, the everything. We have automation everywhere, basically. Like we can turn on the light of other toilets from the toilet.
Nice.
So if some members are in one of the 2 toilets, we can just play with each other's lights, more or less accidentally, because they're not clearly labeled.
All right.
So you either turn your own light on or the other light off. So yeah, that was something fun, and especially after like 5 minutes of trying to figure out why it doesn't work, until the other person just yells, "Can you please stop?" Yeah, that's.
Can anybody hear me? Are we back? Okay, I think we're back.
Yay!
My internet went out went off, died for whatever reason. But we're back, so we're good.
Yeah, I saw the screen the stream loading, and I was like, oh shit, is that my internet? And I panically refreshed all the tabs in my browser, and it was like, hey, that's not me. I have internet.
Yeah, I saw the OBS went from green to orange, and then to red, and then I lost internet. So I'm not sure what happened there, but
don't worry, Bleep Track, you got me back.
So yeah, all is good. You were saying something and then you got cut off. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was asking Bleep Track about the CPU18 or CPU19 in this case, but it's basically like another hacker event, like the Congress, like 35C3 and stuff.
Oh.
But in Ulm and very much smaller. Like the last year, the CPU18 was the first event for a long time in Ulm, and yeah, it was really fun and one of my favorite chaos events.
Hard to Google.
You can't really Google that. Chaos Party Ulm.
Will it show me some private party? Oh, Chaos Net House. My bad. Right.
A Chaos Party. Like Chaos, like Chaos Computer Club.
You'll see me getting it in a few seconds.
There it is.
Nice domain. Oh no, it's all in German. Oh no, there's some English.
Yeah.
But that's last year's.
Oh, your hackerspace is not involved? Whoa, you were in Shenzhen? That's amazing.
Nice.
Oh, I want to do that.
Yeah,
I want to go to Shenzhen and just shop electronics.
Yeah, I was in India for New Year's, and I went to New Delhi to the electronics market there, but it wasn't this, like, I assume it's not like Shenzhen, because they didn't really have like SMD parts and so on. It was a lot bigger stuff like buttons and so on. So Shenzhen's still on the list. I was trying to get some LED matrices, but they did not have. They kept. It was almost like felt like a fetch quest in RPG. Like, go to this store. No, go to this store. This store. But in the end, no one had it.
Have we got you convinced about buying LED matrices now?
Yeah. I mean, I saw the LED cube like at CCC, and I saw it on Twitter, and that looks so sweet. I was actually thinking, what other shapes can you put, like 3D shapes, LEDs? I did find one that was quite interesting. I posted on Twitter.
A hexagon?
Yeah, but I'm gonna have a hard time finding it now. But it was quite interesting because it had sides that are squares and triangles. So for the squares, you could use the matrices and then just make custom triangle PCBs. So it wouldn't be so much work, I would assume.
Yeah. At least you do not want to do that by hand.
No, for sure.
At least I don't want to. Like, you're free to do whatever you want, Arturo.
So I might embarrass myself, but I don't know where Ulm is in Germany. I'm gonna zoom out on this map. Okay, there's München, Stuttgart. Okay, now I know.
Yeah, there are a bunch of CCC events, and there's like a whole, like, each one is entirely different and special in its own entirely different way. Like you've got the GPN, the Gulasch Programmiernacht, which where, as the name implies, you get goulash, and
nice.
Yeah, that's very much fun.
Mhm.
That's at a specific place in Karlsruhe, called the ZKM. Yeah, it's just so much fun every single time. Like last year at the GluPN, which is basically like the winter event of the GPN. I just, like, a friend of mine was driving around with like a self-made electric car, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I need to build one, so I did. So that was the other thing I did for Congress this year. Like, I had two projects more or less, like the LEDs and
Now I remember.
the car. Yeah.
Yeah, it was there. I somehow forgot about that one. I was so impressed by the LEDs, but yeah, of course, that was there. Yeah, it looks super cool.
Yeah.
I have to say, because we came to visit you with Esden, and
yeah,
I like never met him before, and it was like he's such a cool guy, such a nice guy. So just shout out to him.
Yeah, I know, right?
He is so cool.
I've met him before. Actually, I met him before I even went into my local hackerspace for the first time. So I used to go to Congress every year. I started at like 31C3.
Wow.
So I've been there a couple times now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there, and at some point, like, I think 33C3, something like that. So a long time ago, he sold me a Blackmagic debug probe.
Right.
So and that was really handy. So I bought that off of him in person, and I was looking for him the entire time. Then I noticed his booth was exactly one booth away from mine.
Nice.
And that was like, why is this so hard?
Yeah, sometimes
that
can be confusing.
Organization is hard.
I'm actually quite impressed by, this was my third Congress, the one in 2018, and I'm very impressed by what they did in Leipzig. That like, it's larger than what it was in Hamburg, but it definitely feels easier to find things because it's just a huge hall, open space.
Yeah.
So I'm really impressed.
Like the 35C3 was better than the 34C3 because that was the time where they switched to Leipzig.
Yeah, we had definitely a worse seat back then because it was like right under a huge light. It was super bright at our desk, so you couldn't, like, we had a projector, but you couldn't see anything, and it's a bit annoying. But this year, definitely they listened and improved. So next year is gonna be even better.
Yeah, like 34C3, I was not convinced that it's gonna be as good as it was in Hamburg, because I was a couple times to Hamburg, and it was always such a blast. I have such a cherished memory of that place, and when it came to Leipzig, even though I haven't been in the chaos community for like that long, considering other people were there since the beginning, it wasn't the same for 34C3, and it was way too big. It felt way too big, at least, and it just it was weird. But the last Congress, like the 35C3, that was good.
Yeah, they built more, like they put more walls, which helped kind of keep the noise down, and they separated it more into smaller areas. But you could still just walk out into the rings that they made, and you could go anywhere very quickly.
Yeah, I think just the design decisions on that part was just amazing.
Yeah.
Like for me, especially considering that there are so many electric scooters and stuff around, like that was just fun. Like these rings just there, we can drive around. That was amazing.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You definitely meet people you wouldn't imagine meeting and having fun. Just pretty cool. Yeah, Bleep, let's meet up. That sounds fun. Plus, you're not all too far, so you can visit the CCC FFM hackerspace. Whoop whoop. Aw. See you, Bleep.
Yeah, see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. You're probably going off to sleep, so good night.
That's pretty early, but whatever. How many hours you need, you do you.
I don't know. I have no concept of like time in general. I still get the idea that at like 10 p.m. you probably should is a reasonable time to go to bed. However, I'm regularly sleeping at like 4 a.m. So my nights are varying between very, very short and very long. So the regular sleep schedule, what is that?
Okay, so I claim the PMIC symbol done. Now we need, I think I will go for creating the BGA footprint, which hopefully should be fast with the generator. And after looking quickly, it seems the PMIC footprint is also missing because it's kind of unique, but the QFN generator, I believe, should also help with that. Look how long this is taking, just loading all the footprints. It's gonna be like 2 minutes. Ooh, Benjamin is
we have
here.
another returning viewer. Hello.
Hello. I wonder how it's working with the stream, since the stream broke at one point and I started a new one. Does it get a new URL and will be in 2 parts, or have to check that later.
That's an interesting question. I do not know the answer to that.
Because like in OBS, I didn't really ever stop because it said reconnected and it kind of continued. I don't know, it has to be the same because people didn't ask for a new URL, they just kept watching on the old one. So I guess it's the same one. Somehow YouTube knows there's some not timestamp, some unique ID or something. Yeah, KiCad has a QFN generator, BGA generator. They are just very well hidden because UX is not for engineers. Yeah.
I didn't even know you had any sort of generator. I've always drawn things by hand.
Yeah,
from scratch.
I also learned the hard way that actually there are generators.
Wow.
It only took 2 minutes to open this. It's still opening, so there we go.
Why does it take so long for you?
Because it has to load all these footprints, and I'm not sure if it's the streaming somehow slowing it down. It shouldn't. It can slow down the rendering, I believe, but not sure why that took so long. But I also like installed a fresh new version. So if it generates any cache, then that was invalidated. So maybe it was generating.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So I think KiCad got a lot better at this, but it used to be that there used to be functions in this what do you call it? Like toolbar, in this toolbar that were not in the drop-downs menus here, and well, vice versa is kind of quite common that there's more in these menus than in the toolbar, but you never really see things that are in a toolbar that are nowhere in the menus, because that's just not how UX works. But no, KiCad found a way. I remember in the PCB tool, the PCB new, the things that are in this toolbar on the right here were not in the drop-down menus. So if you had too small screen, because if you see, there is no expand, like normally you should get like a button that you click and you get the missing items, but not in KiCad. So it used to be that if you had too small screen, you just couldn't like get to these functions until they added them actually. So KiCad has come a long way.
Wow, yeah.
But anyway,
that sounds really annoying.
So it used to be that the wizard was not in any menu, it was only in the toolbar. So you had to know that it's kind of there. But yeah, you can see here, there's one for BGA, QFNs, QFPs, and many. So if you see an uncommon SOIC, you can generate it quite quickly.
That's pretty handy.
Definitely.
Wait, you can generate barcodes? Or QR codes?
Apparently, I never tried it. Let's try
That's fun.
Huh. That's useful.
That seems really interesting. If I get a website for my boards, I can just generate a QR code that will link to the page.
This is actually really useful. I never looked at that.
Yeah.
But this has more options here than the actual photo to KiCad tool. Because,
yeah.
Because it's different people working on different things, and there's not really much synchronization between them. So that's just open source for you.
Yeah, that's also I noticed. eSchema has so good key bindings, in my opinion. Like you can just navigate the entire schematic stuff with your keyboard, no problem. But like PCB-New, I haven't figured out if there even is any sort of usable key binding.
No,
like
there's quite a few.
Like you still have to use the mouse at some point, and it's like I just want to use the keyboard, no mouse.
Yeah, that might be difficult when you're kind of drawing stuff.
Yeah.
But at this point, like I've been using KiCad for like 2 years, I guess. Like 2 years. So at this point, if you ask me what shortcuts there are, I kind of just use my muscle memory, so I would have a hard time. Because like I don't quite remember. And I think drag is actually different between the schematic and the PCB, because again, consistency is not for us.
I definitely know that none of the key bindings that work in eSchema work in PCB-New. And it really confused me a lot, because I thought I was pressing a button wrong. And that was like, how can I press a button wrong? But I was at the point where, hey, this is KiCad. It should work. It's the same program, except it isn't.
No.
So, yeah, it's something I never thought about, but it does make sense when you just have to know why.
Oh, this is bottom view. That's. I mean, it makes sense here, but remember, kids, always double check your reviews. Okay, so how big is this sucker? Yep, 18 by 18.
Oh, it lacks some balls. Interesting.
Yeah, so I can create the full one and then just remove the ones that are missing. It should be good. I'm hoping. The margin surely is.
You set the package width. Don't you want the ball array?
Yeah, that's the next, but that's the chip size. That's D. But
oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The margin, I think that's the margin like here, or actually it says, no, it doesn't. But I believe the margin is for the courtyard, so that shouldn't matter. Yep, okay. So it's 22 by 22. That's gonna be interesting now. Boom. Yeah, I say boom, and for you watching, you have to wait 20 seconds. But then for people watching with sound, and for them it's synced. And the size is of the ball, I believe. Yep. Big. Okay, so it's gonna be 2 hours and 15 seconds. So I think I will finish this footprint and call it a day.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. Trying to not keep them each 5 hours. It's a 0.4 steps. I put 0 in there because I was wondering if the size is including the solder mask here or not. It seems like it's just the size of the copper. And then the datasheet claims the stencil opening, the actual copper should be 0.4. So let's do 0.4 and hopefully we're good. So 22 balls, that seems correct. Yes, and then it's 18 by 18. I don't remember which. This one. Yeah, because this window has no menu at all. It only has a toolbar, so yeah. And there it is.
Consistency.
Ooh. Let's see that in 3D. And let's see how long that takes to render while I'm streaming, actually. No problem. I mean, there's barely anything to render here, so that's good.
Ooh.
And there is
That looks good.
there's solder paste on it. And some people don't use solder paste for BGAs because, I mean, BGAs have balls of solder, so why would you do that? So that's something I should think about, because for the previous board I did use solder and there was no problem there. So if it works, maybe don't change it. I really like that. Even the silk screen has thickness. Like they really made it nice.
Yeah, the 3D viewer is pretty cool.
Oh, the stream hasn't even gotten yet to the 3D. It's coming. Spoilers.
No, I've seen it.
Oh wait, so is mine? Oh, my stream window is lagging. How is that? My stream window has fallen behind like 30 seconds. That was strange.
Wow.
I should save this. And I should actually rename this footprint because it does not have all these balls. Porphyry. Oh, we can add a 3D model while we're at it. Or maybe not now, because I want to see when I remove the balls. So, I have to be really careful what I'm removing. Because if I remove something wrong, that's not a fact. So all the 3 viewers, check my check my work. And I guess you're one of them, so
Yay!
Where is that? Does it say how many? Okay, it says paths. I should know when I'm done. That's good. G7. And the grid is too big.
Oh wow.
Gone.
I do not envy you for having to make that footprint.
It could have been worse. Like if I didn't know there was a generator, imagine if I had to do this by hand from scratch.
Oh yeah, sure, it could have been worse. Oh no, the heat shrink on my oscilloscope probe is slowly disappearing.
But heat shrink, you can always put more, I guess.
Yeah, fair point.
You mean on the side that's connected to the board, right?
Yeah. No. I'm talking on my probe. I'm not sure if you can see this, but here the heat shrink is just slowly dying, like wrapping over, but oh well. It'll do.
Yep. I mean, that's just ground, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
Same as
Nobody died for having an exposed ground anyway, right?
No. I mean, it's ground. You should ground everything just to make it safe. The more ground, the better.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah, I forgot I was actually supposed to show, it's even in the title of the stream, the CubeMX, but I just went into KiCad because today STM added support for this family of chips to their Cube software. So you can actually...
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, it's really nice. You can actually configure all the peripherals and then generate a DTS file for the kernel and for U-boot. I think that's going to be actually very useful.
That's very handy.
Yeah, because when working with the SAM chip, there was a lot of guesswork going on, and I had to like check their reference board DTSs, and it wasn't always so clear what I'm supposed to change to get where I want to get. But here, I just change it in the GUI and get a new output, so that should be really nice.
Indeed. Right, so finally I've gotten to the point where I can actually test my board.
Nice.
So I can start being productive. That's the idea anyway.
I'm not keeping consistent here. This is gonna bite me. Okay, so now I have 448. So in theory, I'm done. In practice, I'm scared. What do I have?
Technik mit Ben asked the question. To boot a mainline ARM device, I basically just need U-boot, kernel, rootfs, and a DTS file.
I guess. But
yeah.
What is it? This on the PC or on a custom board? You mean?
On an ARM device, like.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the chip vendor how, because there is usually a bootloader before U-boot, and it varies. Like there's no standard way really to do it. So, like I think on these STMs there is in the ROM, so it just boots U-boot, but then for the SAM there is this bootstrap thingy. Okay, that was in the chat. Sorry, I did not see. What you were asking? Yeah, so on the SAM there is the bootstrap program, and like on IMX chips, I think they actually use a stripped down version of U-boot. So U-boot boots U-boot. But U-boot, kernel, rootfs, and DTS. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, the DTS gets compiled into a DTB, but that's just details.
Right. Apologies if it's getting louder, but I'm gonna boot my oscilloscope.
Yeah, let's see. I can always lower the volume.
It's a really old. Oh, I mean, not that old, but pretty old oscilloscope. So it's got some relays clicking and stuff like that.
Not so bad. I heard it boot up, but not that bad.
Cool. I mean, it's still booting, so you know, in like half a minute, I can probably use it, maybe.
Oh, Photoshop won't be so fast.
Oh hey, it passed the self-check. That's progress.
What I'm trying to do now for the confused viewers is I'm gonna overlay my footprint on top of the PDF just to compare the balls because I'm unsure of myself. And I mean, it's a pretty quick way to verify that, I think. Just do this. It's kind of slow right now, Photoshop, because I'm streaming, I guess. There we go. Perfecto. So that's good. I removed the correct ones, and that is all. Cool. We have verified the footprint.
Oh crap. There we go. Yeah, I figured out why the CAN device never went up, because I didn't power the transceiver, and now I powered it. Now it just goes up without problem. So
Nice.
yeah, that's something. Now I just need to figure out the right options to give to the CAN loading tool, because there's a CAN loading tool called CanGen, I think. And I can just set it to CanGen CAN0, and I see nothing. What? Am I supposed to see nothing? I don't think so. Let's try auto setting.
That always works. Let it figure it
Oh,
out itself.
I see data.
Ooh. Very nice. Oh, this works.
Yeah, I think it works.
Congratulations then. So TX is working.
It's at least sending data. I think it's working.
Nice.
I think I sent so much data, it's never stopping. I think it's loading with like full blown. So how about I send? Can I just load it for like 10%? I don't have a logic analyzer handy, so Oh, it's not up.
I have that cheap one, which is like 10-15 bucks from AliExpress, and it's actually surprisingly good enough. Like if you wanna listen on what the heck is happening with Kaika right now? Why is that red? I have no idea. Oh, is that a new feature actually? If you wanna listen on SPI or I2C, then it's definitely good enough for that. I wonder if this is red because I have it selected here, and that's like the last unit. And I haven't seen this before. Now I'm wondering if this is new or I always had this full screen, so I never noticed. Interesting. Anyway, if we do it by pins, there should be just one that fits. Oh my gosh, it's so slow right now. Why? Yep.
I need to figure out how actually CanGen works, because apparently it's just filling all my buffers, so it probably takes more than like a minute to just, you know, have the CAN data be pumped out. And that's not really ideal to check if it ever stops transmitting.
Right. It'll be just a few bytes and then stop.
Yeah, that's probably a better idea.
My KiCad is really slow right now. I hope it's not that all the time I'm streaming, because that's gonna be really annoying. But I added the PMIC because I'm curious now if that highlighting is the current symbol. Just wanna confirm that. Yep, that's really cool. That really helps knowing which part you're setting. And I wonder how long has it been there, because I have never seen it before. Cool. So for my last trick, I will import this footprint. There it is. And there it is. So we're slowly getting somewhere. Now we have a symbol for the chip, which again, I have to double, triple check. We have the symbol for the PMIC, beautiful art, spent 2 hours on it, probably not worth it, but it is what it is. We have a footprint for the chip. Then next time I will create a footprint for the PMIC, which should be really fast because I just generated. And we will try to look into the Cube software. I can explain a bit what you can do there and how it works. And then we can start schematic. And it's gonna be cool. There we go, just connect some grounds like this. This is the recommended way to do it. Trust me. There we go. Always trust your auto router. You can't go wrong with auto router. So.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
I mean, remember to connect your grounds, and now it's
everything in the process. Yeah.
I mean, now it's protected by this ground shield, so no viruses can make inside.
Oh.
So, yeah, this is how you do PCBs.
Carefully.
So this card changes probably. this is where we are. I will screenshot this and put it on Twitter for the likes. And yeah, thanks for joining me here and listening to me ramble. And thanks for talking about your project. I'm wishing you best of luck with the company and your big plans with the maker space. So
thank you.
Super cool. And yeah, let's see in the future if any other people want to join, or if you want to join sometime, if you like this.
Yes.
Cool. Then I will end the stream. Thanks for watching.
See ya.